This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's keep it moving. We'll do two more and then we'll wrap this one up. I want to try to end on a high note if we can.
Was that a low note?
No, not necessarily. I just know that, Cornette can be polarizing one way or another. I listen to his podcast every week and I find him to be very, very entertaining, but I also know that he understands wrestling evolves and changes. I mean, he was a part of a lot of those changes. Craig Roy writes, in an early show, Conrad asked Arn if he had any Abdullah the Butcher stories. Arn paused for a second and said yes, but the way he answered it made it seem like he was hesitant to talk about it. And then the subject was dropped and we never heard the story. So that's my bad, Arn. Can you tell your Abdullah the Butcher story? I don't remember us moving on from that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's, and I never answered that.
I guess not. Maybe I got distracted. That's on me.
Well, no, I get some of these questions, I get off on a tangent. Before I know it, it's been 2 minutes and I've been talking about the same thing. And maybe I didn't get back to the actual question. I apologize for that. When I was just a teenager, and a friend of mine, Pee Wee Anderson, who became a referee and worked for a bunch of different companies and was one of my best friends at one time, my best friend growing up, but was about 100 pounds soaking wet. We went down to the matches on Thursday night in Rome, Georgia, where we lived. And we would have probably been, 17 maybe at the time. And so just like everybody does, but back in the day, there weren't bicycle racks creating the pathway to and from the locker room and all that. Right. It was just a strand of rope. Remember those days?
Yep.
So we jumped Abdullah's fight. Now I want to say maybe Rocky Johnson or something. And they fight out to the floor, and now all of a sudden Abdullah is bleeding and my God, he's gushing blood and he's sweating, and just like everybody else, Pee Wee and I ran over to the rope and we're cheering Rocky on, and Abdullah all of a sudden wheeled around and just bug-eyed as he could be, growled is the best way I can explain it, at Pee Wee and I. And man, I almost fell down. And Pee Wee took off running. It scared the piss out of us. And I'm looking up and he's kind of bending over me and like blood's dripping out of his head. And I went, Jesus Christ, I've had enough of this. Terrified me. So I get up and I run back through that aisle of people and I see him. He's over and he's standing against the wall, but his back is to me. And I'm thinking, what in the hell is he? Has he had a mental lapse or is he crying? What the hell's the matter? And I go over and go, hey man, that wasn't cool. Let's get out of here. And he turns towards me and says, yeah, we better get the hell out of here quick. And I look down and he is pissed all over himself. There's a spot the size of a basketball in his front of his pants. And it literally pissed himself. So we kind of got hip to hip and got the hell out of there and left and went home. And yeah, that was a little disturbing and upsetting.
It's a great story.
Legitimate. They had us hooked.
Let's pivot a little bit and talk about the Carolinas. Greg wants to know, what Carolina small town did you enjoy visiting the most in the 80s?
Rock Hill, because it's about 20 minutes from my house. Rock Hill, South Carolina. We actually did television there, and it was at the college, and it was literally door to door, 20 minutes. It was the closest besides running Charlotte that I could get to actually have a day of work and be back home in 20, 25 minutes. And that was way cool. In those days when you were working all the time, that was like a day off.
Got a lot of good traction, so I'm going to do two more. Late to the Nitro Party says, did you and Bobby Eaton ever discuss how to not hurt someone with a top rope move? Seems like Bobby was the master of this. And you just talked about it earlier, that knee drop off the top. I mean, that's such a dangerous looking move, but Bobby did it flawlessly. You had to be in awe seeing him do that, right?
Absolutely. He was the best.
Right.
That knee looked like it absolutely crushed your larynx, because he would drop it right across your neck. And if he dropped it a little lower across the top part of your chest, it looked like it caved in your sternum. It just looked incredible. Now, our discussions about the top rope never existed for one reason and one reason only. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
I was never going to come off the top. That would have been wasted conversation. I had no more business being on the top rope than the man in the moon. And if I crawled up there, it was a pretty good chance that if something happened, it wasn't going to be an offensive move. I was going to get slammed off the top, drop kicked off the top. It was going to end badly. So I figured out pretty soon, forget the top rope shit, stand on the ground and draw money.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.